much, who you're playing, and you guys have played them before, and you know what you're getting yourselves into. So how have you been preparing for them?
It's the same team in terms of opponent, but they're a different team. Their makeup is much different. Gone is Levi Cook, who is their starting quarterback, and some of the skill guys on the outside perimeter with the passing game. Their passing game this year isn't what it was last year, but everything starts with a fullback, Walters. He's just so tough. And then they have the outside game with Andrews. So between the two of them, they're both over 1,000 yards rushing, and we got to be ready for that two-headed attack.
But you have to feel a little bit comfortable knowing that your run defense has been so good the last few years.
Well, it's just one of those things, Carly, where their specialties run and our specialties stop the run. So in terms of that matchup, I kind of like our chances. But by the same token, until you get out there and until you get a feel for what they want to do, an option is tough to play. They come with a veer. We have to play disciplined football and make sure that all of our guys are going to their assignments and not getting overzealous by trying to do too much.
And then, it's been, I don't want to say a double-edged sword with you guys this year, but, everybody keeps saying about how you run the zone defense against you and your guys get in space. You run the man, they get beat. How big is that, having that going into something like this?
Well, it's important for us, especially for our kids at this point, have seen both of them a lot. So it's just a matter of us understanding what they're going to do defensively. The fad lately has been defend us one way when Jackson's at quarterback, defend us another way when John's at quarterback. And I'll tell you, John Caldwell, I can't say enough about what he's brought to our football team this year. 18 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, and he took over as a starter week 5. So he has really been, our unsung hero this year. And his ability to deliver the ball downfield to Tino and Doherty and Schultz and get those guys in open space has been very important for our offense.
And defensively, obviously you got to stop their running game and things like that. But the guys, said about rushing the quarterback and trying to get in the backfield.
Well, does that burns? Because he wants to get all those sacks. But what's interesting is that there's a team that doesn't pass very much. So he's got a different responsibility this year. We've some teams in their conference have drawn up a pretty good blueprint of what you need to do. And last year I thought we were very effective in getting pressure on their quarterback. And frustrating him because if you're gonna run the option and you're gonna carry out your fakes, our guys are gonna tackle you on every play, and I think that's very frustrating for a quarterback. When you get tackled every play and you don't have the ball, so that's gonna be part of our game plan along with some other things as well.
Something you guys have faced a lot in the last few years with so many rushing teams around here is, the time of possession, but it doesn't matter because you guys have a quick strike type offense.
Well, we do, but then last week I think that I was very proud of the fact that we got the ball with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and then we went on a 17-play, 9-minute drive, really to bleed the clock and to put the game out of reach. And so we can do that as well. But we can also, like we did before the first half, go on a 71-yard drive in 39 seconds. So we're going to do whatever we need to do. It's really important to our kids to win this football game and to win back-to-back, and it just so happens we get the same opponent again.
It's hard for teams to keep up with you guys athletically. How do you think they match up?
Well, they have athletes, that's for sure. I think the strength of their football team, if you look at it on defense, first of all, they have two very good linebackers. Phillips 23 and Walters 34 are as good a tandem as you're going to find at any school at any level. They're really good. And then what they have in the skill positions, they have great speed. Their quarterback, who's a sophomore, number 12, he runs very well. And Andrews, we know his abilities, and most of it's through wrestling, but he's very athletic. I think that we match up well. Ultimately, as is the case each week, I think the game's going to be decided on who can control the line of scrimmage, and hopefully our kids can be the ones that do that.
Just in general, how much fun is it to be at this point and be able to play for this again?
Well, what's most important in the blast for me is the opportunity to be with our kids for another week. They are just a great group of kids to be around. We come to practice, and no matter what happens each day at school, if you're having a terrible day, you come here, and it's kind of like a release. So the more time that I get to spend, our coaches get to spend with these kids is great, and they're very focused. And that's what you expect this time of year. They don't expect to turn their equipment in yet, and I like that. That's half the battle. You get other teams. that are focused on other things. You know, McCourt has a high contingent group of wrestlers. Wrestling starts on Friday. Do they want to start wrestling around on the mats, or do they want to keep playing football? We're hoping that they decide that their mindset is they want to start wrestling. So that's not the mindset of our kids, and I think being through this several times, that's half the battle. Sometimes we've gone into the playoffs, we've had kids that, yeah, we made the playoffs, but they were really wondering when the equipment turn-in was going to be. These kids don't have that mindset.
And the next man up mentality that you guys have had to have this year with the injuries and things like that, how special does that make this group?
Even more so. A lot of the credit goes to the seniors. Every time we've faced adversity, those kids have found a way to step up, whether it be Michael McVicker and Tyler Courtney and Rob Ray playing defensive tackle whenever we lost Jake, or if it's John Caldwell or Jackson Doherty going in a quarterback after we lost Sam, and Sully Schultz, who stepped in for my son at the cornerback position, had a huge pick 6 last week. So it's just, you keep plugging them in. Eventually, you know, it's going to say, it's how do you replace all these kids, and it'll catch up to us. But as of right now, it hasn't. All the kudos to our kids.
Cool. Sounds good.